Better late than never. We're about to get underway. Pirelli GT4 America here at Road America. Mother Nature intervened yesterday, which meant race one was scrubbed. It will be made up at a later date in the upcoming race weekend at Barber Motorsports Park, which means this is the one chance for Pirelli GT4 America to take to Road America in race conditions here in 2025. An hour of racing upcoming. The grid is absolutely stacked, about ready to roll in just a few moments' time. My name is Ryan Marine. Calvin Fish is alongside, and DJ Clark is in the pit lane for us. Cal, we've been waiting a long time. I bet these drivers are anxious to get started after a false start yesterday.
Yeah, so much anticipation on returning to Road America. One of the favorites of all of the drivers in the paddock here. Unfortunately, the weather didn't play nice with us yesterday. We did get the race underway, but was aborted before a lap was completed. So we'll have a replay of that at Barber Motorsports Park in a few weeks' time. But now the drivers are very anxious to get some green flag running here in what are now perfect conditions.
Yeah, weather conditions so much different than we saw yesterday. There are some clouds rolling in overhead, but the forecast, if it is to be believed, does not call for any more rain today. And that is a welcome change after all the rain we had that intervened with race number one yesterday. Temperatures climbing into the 70s. Very comfortable here trackside. It'll be comfortable inside these race cars too as they get ready to go for their only race, as it turns out, of the weekend at Road America. All of these drivers waiting for the words that will get them started. And we'll get the most famous words in motorsports now. Zach Fairhurst is standing by at the front of the grid to give the command.
Here to give the most famous words in motorsports, please welcome content creator Zach Fairhurst.
I only have three things to say. God bless our troops, God bless America, and drivers, start your engines! There we go.
That's the command we've been waiting for. Engines are fired. A look at the front row here. Tyler Gonzalez for the Rafa Racing team, trying to stay in the championship hunt. Jonathan Neudorf, great qualifying effort for JMF Motorsports, will roll off in the second spot. Then Kevin Cook and Matt Silliahaugen roll to. Mateus Laced on the Pro-Am pole. Darius Trinka in his debut in the championship. A lot more on him as we go. Great qualifying effort to start 9th overall. He takes the M-Class pole for Random Vandals.
Yeah, really impressive performance by him, kind of coming into our championship very late. You know, the Paul Sparta would love to get to victory lane here before the season is over, so he's got a great co-driver there. But Random Vandals, they've been on a march. They've been sweeping weekends in the other two classes. Let's see what they can do in the AM division here today. These
are your class pole sitters. Trinka, who shares his car with Paul Sparta in the M class. In the middle, it's Mateus Laced and Michael Oriema. And they're on the Pro-Am pole. Then, as mentioned, Tyler Gonzalez for the Rafa Racing team. Ian Gresham Wagner sharing that car that starts on the overall pole position here today. This is how the grid will line up for this race. Gonzalez, the pole sitter, Neudorf alongside, Supra and Aston on the front row. Then row number 2, Kenton Cook, what a run of form he and Kevin Boehm have been on. They'll start third today next to the impressive Norwegian Mads Silliahaugen with Marco Polo Motorsport. Mateus Laced, ex-IndyCar driver, will roll off in the fifth spot. Danny Jashelski alongside. Then it's Tyler McQuarrie for Bimmer World and Max Hewitt for Vanderstur Racing. 9th on the grid is the impressive newcomer Darius Trinka. Brings a lot of experience from Lamborghini Super Trofeo. Alongside him will be Mike David Ortman. That's a story we'll touch on in a moment. Anna Grisham, Josh Green making up row 6. Kenny Schmid and Michael Cooper back in row 7. Alan Patton for Thunder Bunny Racing. They've switched to a BMW starting here at Road America. Zach Anderson starts alongside. Then it's Denny Stripling and Matt Bell. Row 10, Kurt Swearingen and Charlie Postins for Bimmer World Racing. Points leaders in the M class. Lucas Catania and Tyler Stone will start in row 11. And Alex Garcia and Eddie Colleen back in row number 12. Out back will be Dan Seville for ACI Motorsports in the car he shares with Rapid Dutchman Luke Hartog. All right, plenty of stories to pick from, Cal. What's first on your mind as we get ready to go?
Well, I think championships are certainly starting to come into the picture a little bit. I mean, we've got still a lot of points on the table at the checkered flag here tonight with 5 rounds, with Barber now being a triple header and a double header at Indy to finish off the season. But certainly all of these drivers that are in contention want to have a big points day here. That silver class battle has been sensational, but certainly Kevin Boehm, Kenton Cook have been on a march. 4 wins this year, 4 consecutive leading into this weekend. Ken's on the second row here. He's going to try and get around that pole sitter early, I think.
Hey, he did it in the GT World Challenge race yesterday, didn't he? Super aggressive on starts and restarts. He has.
He's now got 9 wins in SRO competition this year, plus a win here in IMSA competition just a few weeks ago in GT3. So he's got such momentum, he's got such racecraft, but he knows he's got a big challenge ahead of those drivers sitting there on the front row in terms of Gonzalez and Newdorf.
So much still to play for here, even at this late stage in the season. Mentioned the story. It was supposed to be Braden Arthur starting for JMF Motorsports in their second car, down into 10th place. Braden unable to take part, citing force majeure. The team has requested to run as a single driver entry, and so it will be Mike David Ortman doing both legs of this race, but as a consequence, they've got a lengthier pit stop coming their way.
Yeah, they have to add 5 seconds to the 91-second minimum for everyone else in this race today, so we'll dig into that. That can really hurt you if you're coming in after a yellow or if they're line astern coming up pit lane. We'll watch and see.
Here comes the field, 25 cars deep, getting ready to take the green flag and get this race underway. Everyone with so much pent-up energy because they had to sit and wait overnight. They didn't get a chance to race yesterday like all of their peers, but the wait is now over. Tyler Gonzalez, the pole sitter, has the field under his control. Ooh, back in the pack, everyone checking up a little bit. That was nearly calamity before the green flag. And speaking of the green, it's Taylor Hale to wave the green flag once Tyler Gonzalez steps on the loud pedal. Here he comes into the acceleration zone. There's the green flag, and we are racing in Pirelli GT4 America at America's National Park of Speed, Road America. Gonzalez trying to bring heat into his Pirellis right away. Newdorf tucks in line. Here comes the Kenton Cook machine on the attack, immediately pulls to the inside, trying to take second place away.
Yeah, that was a brilliant move there. He caught Newdorf by surprise, just leapt to the inside and jumped on the middle pedal, got it woe down. Great move by our championship leader.
Mateus Lace trying to follow him through. That's the white and highlighter yellow Porsche from Nola Sport leading in the Pro-Am class. Looked like Newdorf got used up a bit, sent a little bit wide. That cost him some momentum. He's now vulnerable. Here comes Celia Hauk. Here comes Dyshelski. As a matter of fact, he might take multiple positions in the run down to turn 5. That's the white and blue Porsche. Backs out of the move around the outside. Tries to tuck back in line, but Max Hewitt does give him just enough room.
That was really tight there. Great evasive maneuver there by Max Hewitt to not cause enough contact to turn that race car.
Top 3 are single file. Great start by Lace to get up to the 3rd spot overall. Plenty of buffer as well next to the next car in his class. Gonzalez leads, then it's Cook, then it's Lace. Newdorf settles in 4th, but look at this gaggle further back in the pack. That's Mike David Ortman charging through in the second of the JMF Aston Martin's, able to pick a spot up around Max Hewitt.
Yeah, fortunately for him, even though there was a driver change, he was allowed to keep that track position, so that's the good news for that group. Obviously, they've got to pay the price during that pit stop.
Finally, things starting to settle down about halfway through the opening lap, although further back it looks like another side-by-side moment. Coming in toward the kink, they do get it sorted out. It was Matt Bell and Darius Trinka doing battle. Trinka has really been shuffled back after qualifying 9th. He's now shown 16th overall. Welcome to GT4.
Yeah, absolutely. As Michael Cooper making a bold move down to the inside. McLaren's got a little bit of a BOP adjustment after qualifying here yesterday. And for all of these drivers and teams here, first green flag action with that new Pirelli DHG in race trim.
Jonathan Newdorf, the Aston 4th in line. Looked like he had a lot of grass up in that radiator grill. This could be an issue. Now, the good news is it's not a terribly warm day here in Wisconsin, but even still, that cooling's so important on these GT4 machines.
It certainly is. The draft effect is huge. 3 big long straightaways here. Big move down to the inside.
Josh Green.
That was really nice. That's our championship leader, and he swings out wide on the exit of turn 1.
Yeah, they've had a really good run. the silver class Random Vandals car leads its championship points on a massive win streak. Something very similar for the Pro-Am entry of Green there, who was able to recover. Meanwhile, spin further back. This is the 188.
Stripling.
Danny Stripling has gone around, able to continue on.
Love this racetrack, big long straightaways, heavy brake zones, always keeps it exciting, good overtaking opportunities throughout this three-class field.
What a frantic start to the race, but mercifully it's been relatively clean. A couple of banged doors and a spin or two aside, everyone able to continue on. Gonzalez and Cook, they lead overall. The battle might be for second overall in just a moment as Mateus Laced has run down Kitten Cook.
It's a great little battle going on here between Naselski and Celia Haug. Mad Dog on the attack there. Mad Celia Haug for Marco Polo Motorsport. Great to see them back in our paddock this year once again. Always a threat for a big result.
Super talented guy. Been out of the series for a little while, but back alongside Nikolai Elkanian this year. The team has gone through a little bit of a restructuring since the early part of the season. They've had good pace, have the results to show for it, however. This was that moment a moment ago where Josh Green went in deep. That ends up out wide. Now he rejoins the track. That seems to be all copacetic, but there's the spin from Stripling further back in the pack. Yeah, there's a bit of bottleneck there of cars there coming into turn one behind that incident. Josh Green, he had a really rough ride there. You saw him sort of like take to the runoff area, but when he rejoined through the dirt, nearly lost control on the entry down into the brake zone for turn three. A little ding in the front of the car, perhaps, for Mateus Laced. It's the kind of rough and tumble racing, though, that you expect in GT4, whether it's here in Pirelli GT4 America, GT4 European Series, anywhere these cars are run. It is tight, it is close, and getting your elbows out is a necessity in a series like this one. Green counterattacking now after losing some ground. He's sizing up Anna Grisham, it would appear. It is for 11th and 12th in the overall order.
Yeah, they've got some work to do. Currently down 4th in class, 14th overall. Excuse me, 3rd in class, 12th overall. Timing and scoring is changing rapidly on us here.
It sure is. Here we go. Mateus Laced.
Porsche looks good.
It does.
Does the little crossover, but Ken and Cook just so wise. They just slowed it down enough at apex to not allow that momentum back to the inside for the Porsche driver.
It's brought Jonathan Neudorf back up into the battle too. Neudorf desperately would like to get around Laced because the two cars that lead the race, first and second, are first and second in his class as well.
Here are these drivers pulling double duty. Jonathan Neudorf, he's been busy in TC America competition this weekend. Had some solid results for the Toyota brand, run under the JMF umbrella as well.
Really good run for them in that project's continued development has taken another step forward. Back right at home in the Aston. Really solid day in class 4. All behind him has been absolutely rapid. Danny Dashelski, VPX Motorsports, had the fastest lap of the race until a few moments ago when Neudorf took it away from him.
Gonzalez certainly looking strong up front. They need this result. They've got to start to beat that 97 car on the racetrack and eat into that gap, which is currently 32 points heading into this race weekend.
Time running out. We thought we'd have 4 races remaining when we get to the end of this race weekend, but with the washout yesterday, still 3 races to go at Barber, and then 2 to close the season out at Indianapolis. Tyler Gonzalez has built that margin now. It's grown to 1.3 seconds over Kitten Cook. We really haven't seen the Supra flex its muscle like this since the endurance race that we had earlier this season at Circuit of the Americas. It was a dominant performance from the Rafa Racing team there. 7.5 minutes into this race, a chance to check in pit side with DJ Clark.
Hey Ryan, I wanted to check in very briefly with Fast Track Racing after that incident with Danny Stripling. They said the car is okay. It was mainly tire-to-tire contact, and Danny is reporting that the car feels stable. They had one of the members of the team jump over the wall real quick and take a look at the car, so they feel okay. They're just holding steady as of now.
Appreciate the updates. Showing the back of the pack right now.
Sillyhaug off and on, up through turn 6. Loses a position. May lose another one on the run. Hewitt putting the pressure on.
Sure is. Here comes Bax. Pokes his nose out. Tucks back in. Started the season in GT America, running in the GT4 class there, but has switched the focus here mid-season to Pirelli GT4 America and drafted in another impressive youngster, Luca Mars, as his co-driver. That is a duo to keep an eye on.
Right behind them is the 82 car of Tyler McQuarrie. Thick in that battle for the Pro-Am Drivers' Points Championship, only 9 points back after a couple of podiums at VIR, but that doesn't get it done when the championship leader keeps winning like they do. But right now they have track position on them today.
Yeah, you're right. 9 points, I think you said the difference coming into the weekend. A couple of third-place results for McQuarrie and James Walker Jr. at VIR. They won their class in that Circuit of the Americas Enduro earlier this season.
Cooper trying to set up McQuarrie here. Swings out wide on the approach to turn 14. Trying to widen that radius, get on the power early, tucks up in the draft. McLaren was struggling for straight line speed here early in the weekend. They did get that BOP adjustment, which was a power move, I believe. So let's see how it stacks up here. Elects to not pull the draft, so maybe he's on the threshold with his cooling on the front end of the McLaren to not warrant that.
Michael stays in line, multi-time champion in this SRO paddock, dating back to the Pirelli World Challenge days.
Ton of success here. I think he won 4 races back in the 19 and 20 season. 4 out of 5 wins that during that spell. Local team, of course, Black Dog Speed Shop, Ray Sorensen and the gang. Rode America like the back of their hand.
Winners earlier this season, race 1 of the year, in fact, at Sonoma. Since then, they've been on a nice string of podiums in class. 4 out of the last 5 races. They've stood on the podium, but only the 1 win. 3rd in points coming in, 24 points back. So this is a significant battle within the Pro-Am class. 2nd and 3rd in the class here, and then also, again, amongst a couple of front runners from a points perspective.
2nd and 3rd in the championship, 2nd and 3rd in class right now with the championship leader a couple of cars back there. You see Josh Green, last car in the frame right there, heading into the carousel.
As ever, all the classes all mixed up. Everyone uses identical GT4 spec cars. The only difference is the experience and FIA driver grading in these driver lineups. This is right on the fringe of the top 10 overall, with Tyler McQuarrie and Michael Cooper continuing to slug it out. 2nd and 3rd in their class. BMW leads the McLaren here on the run down to Canada Corner, and now it's Cooper on the defensive. Zach Anderson in a silver class car trying to interject himself into this battle.
For Zach Anderson and that group, they need to get on a roll here. Won the opener to the season, but haven't had the sort of season that we expect the Auto Technic Racing Group to put together. So they need to get on the boil here a little bit with a handful of races left in this championship season.
It's been a curious one. You mentioned that win, but only 2 podiums since then. Pair of 3rd place finishes, both at Sebring. This is a lineup that I think we and they both expected to be championship contenders this year. Finished 3rd in the silver title chase 1 year ago.
And I think they've had a couple of results that kind of went away from. I believe at Coda they were in strong position, then just with the cautions that were near the end, as I recall, lost them that track position. I think they're on route for a win that day.
That's the way it goes sometimes. Even on a season where you have the pace, you still need Lady Luck to smile on you, and that has not consistently been the case for Anderson, Colin Garrett, and the whole Auto Technic team. And right now, he also has to contend with Josh Green, who would love to recover a little after that wide in turn 1 moment a few laps back.
A couple of times you think that Josh Green is close enough that Anderson would want to protect the inside lane, but he's obviously confident with that car under braking. He didn't do it up into turn 1 and elected not to do it into turn 5, but he runs wide there. This could make him vulnerable as they head down the hill, down the hurry downs into turn 8.
Green had a run, but couldn't get close enough. Two really strong BMW prep shops here, Autotechnic out of Connecticut, Random Vandals Racing, based in North Carolina. Speaking of the Vandals, here is the Crown Strike AWS sponsored entry for Kenton Cook, who was aggressive as advertised on the start. Runs second right now, but is falling behind the race leader, Tyler Gonzalez.
And again, so much to be learned here with this new tire. Does it get peaky in the middle of this race? You want to make sure that you're given your co-driver. There's no tire change in Pirelli GT4, so these tires have to go the full 60 minutes. There's really a question of just feeling these tires, managing, seeing what the feedback from the tire and the car is giving to you in terms of how hard you push. You'd have to feel that these front-running drivers are thinking about that this early in the race.
Gonzalez knows if they're going to be in the championship conversation going into Indianapolis, they need to finish ahead of that Random Vandals BMW that's currently second. Just the one win in the Enduro and Circuit of the Americas, but been on the podium an additional 3 times, 32 points adrift in the title hunt coming into this weekend.
I love the point structure we have, which really rewards victories. You can take big chunks out of that margin if you win. It's a 7-point swing between first and second place on the road.
Checking in here with Kenny Schmid. He and Anthony Gerasi driving for the Rafa team, so sister car to the overall leader, but this one in the AM class, and they are quietly having a really strong season, Calvin. They finished second in both races at VIR. They come in just 12 points out of the championship lead in that class. 1 win to go along with 4 additional podiums. It's been a strong year for these two.
It is. And Charlie Poston's the championship leader along with James Clay is running down in 7th in class. So as they run, potential huge swing here today.
Still a long way to go, of course, but right now Schmid doing what he needs to do. Shown down in 14th overall. Darius Trinka, this is the car that's chasing him in the M class. Mentioned Darius debuting here this weekend, taking the place that Michael Kanishak has held for the better part of the year. Michael with business commitments that necessitated he step away. So Random Vandals went to the Rolodex, dialed up Darius Trinka, who has been right on the pace all weekend. Brings experience dating back to driving in the Skip Barber single-seater series back in the mid-aughts. And right now, he is the championship leader in his class in Lamborghini Super Trofeo North America, and was just racing here in that series a few weeks ago.
Yeah, he certainly got the attention of some of the AM competitors here this weekend, saying, where did he come from? He's really quick in practice. Certainly showed that in qualifying, obviously, yesterday with that pole position.
Here's Thunder Bunny Racing. This has been another team that's been something of a revelation this year. Within the AM class, Alan Patton and Laura Hayes, right now 3rd in class. And if you've been following the series all year, you'll notice this is not the car that they've been driving by and large this year. Make the switch to the BMW after starting the season in the Supra, and are coming to grips with it and the new tire simultaneously here this weekend.
Here's Charlie Postons. Talked about him in the championship lead. Definitely not used to seeing him running down in that 7th position. I think they have a bit of an ace in their sleeve with James Clay and his relative performance to the second drivers on all of these AM combinations, but they're back on form. 2-time champions. Had a year that just couldn't really get on a roll last year. Got victories, but weren't really a contender for the championship. Just too much argy-bargy, too much bad luck. But this season they've really, would have been 5 in a row, other than a post-race penalty for James Clay late in the going at VIR for a little bit of avoidable contact down in turn 1 there.
And their championship lead would be even bigger if they had managed to finish either of the first 2 races of the season, but were relegated to 8th and 7th. Didn't see the checkered flag in either of those races, so even with the 4-race win streak, it's only a 12-point lead coming into this race.
battle between the BMWs, not for class position, but you can see that Josh Green and the blue and orange Random Vandals machine is now running ahead of Zach Anderson. And Anderson off the road through the carousel. Keeps it together nicely, but loses further ground in that overall battle.
Great recovery from Zach. Just doesn't seem like that car is doing quite what it's asking him to do, and he's maybe having to push a bit harder than he would like to.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the, we really expected them to be knocking on the door for a championship run here, and they just seem to have gone off the boil a little bit. Sometimes the harder you try, you're just not getting the results, and you get back into their rhythm, back into their zone, but they're a great group, two super talented drivers, great team, high level of prep.
Yeah, really good little outfit from New Milford, Connecticut. They've been racing these GT4 BMWs at a high level for quite a few years now, and Zach Anderson, a two-time champion in this series, won the M-Class title in 2020, silver title a few years ago in 2023. Back to the front, though. It's where we find the two JMF cars running nose to tail. As mentioned, it's Mike David Ortman in the car that's shown in 5th. Timing and scoring still shows Braden Arthur as the driver. He was supposed to be taking the start of this race, but for whatever reason, and the details of it were not communicated, which is perfectly acceptable, but that's why we can't pass them along. He was unable to take the start here, so Mike David Ortman, who is part of the junior program with Aston Martin, will be doing the full race here today.
As we said earlier, the good news was they were able to keep that grid position, but they will, any team that elects to run a single driver has to add 5 seconds to that pit stop, which is, window is coming up. It's not a definitive window. It's all about the maximum drive time of 35 minutes, but the minimum time on pit lane is 91 seconds. You add those two together if you want to do an efficient pit stop with 36 minutes and 31 seconds to go in this race. See the clock just winding down to 40 right now. That's when that opportunity, let's put it that way, exists to hit pit lane and manage that situation.
Back to Ortman, maybe not a name that is super familiar here stateside, but he's a two-time GT4 Germany champ, raced in the very competitive GT Masters Series last year in a GT3 car, finished 8th in points there.
We've seen how aggressive he is on and off the racetrack. If you recall leaving VIR with Amanda behind the wheel,
yeah,
he was willing to get his elbows out.
And if you got to drive hard to keep Amanda
That's
behind
right,
you.
she's a racer.
We'll have Amanda back with us, of course, at Barber, but she is as busy a person in the motorsports media, I think it's safe to say. And miss you having you here this weekend, Amanda, but DJ doing a really nice job filling in for us in the pits here this weekend. We talked a little bit earlier, didn't we, about the grass in the grill for Jonathan Neudorf, and I think we've got to look at what might have caused this. This was on the first lap, I understand. Yeah. Doesn't take much.
No. That front splitter just acts like a lawnmower and just puts all those clippings up into the radiator grill, and it's relatively damp as well, so it doesn't just blow off as easily with the amount of rain that we had here yesterday.
Neudorf lucky to get away with that there out of Billy Mitchell Bend. That's a corner that's caught out several cars this weekend.
I think because it was the first lap, maybe it was a few miles an hour slower than you would be a bit deeper into this race, so maybe that was enough to keep that radius or trajectory that you're on under control a little bit.
His two teammates line to stern. That is 4th and 5th in silver. And Celia Haug has settled in nicely behind in the 7th spot. Got shuffled back early in the going. Looks like he's regained his rhythm in that white Marco Polo Motorsports Toyota Supra.
Got a great crew driver as well in Danny Ricciardo. He looks like Danny Ricciardo.
Oh, he's a doppelganger.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Got the same big broad smile, the same joie de vivre. It's great to have them back. Spent a couple of years away. But fun duo when they turned up driving what was the KTM, wasn't it?
That's right.
And Celia Howe spent quite a bit of time as a Ryder Engineering factory driver. That's the firm that developed the GT4 KTM. And so he was kind of the hired gun, but brought Nikolai up to speed quickly. Now they've returned, but with the Supra here this year. Again, the pace has been good, but sometimes through miscues, sometimes through misfortune, just haven't had the results that they've been hoping for.
Run there for Michael Cooper.
Yeah.
There's battle for second in the Pro-Am class, side by side, BMW versus McLaren. Michael's going to be on the grippier part of the racetrack on the racing line, but Macquarie's got that inside line. He's probably going to try and take it deep on the brakes. Michael rolls speed around the outside. Track limits will be called here in this race. He uses them up. Rough ride, getting back onto the racetrack, and here comes Josh Green looking down the inside. That opens up the door for him with Michael's rough ride there through that corner.
That was really opportunistic from Josh. He saw that setting up and read it nicely. So Macquarie now free of that pressure. It's Green trying to pry a position away from Michael Cooper. BMW left of the screen. Cooper in the McLaren to the other side. Now it's Cooper able to pull ahead into the braking zone. That opens the door for Anderson to follow him through.
What a recovery for Zach Anderson. We thought he was dropped by the wayside. He's suddenly right back in this fight.
A couple of cars coming into the pit lane, I think. Is that window effectively open now?
It is.
So Garcia, Stone, Seville, Colleen, all coming in at the earliest opportunity.
We're going to have with the Pro-Am entries. Got the AM partner in the car. You're going to try and get your faster driver in, maximize their drive time. Conversely, if you're pro started, you're going to keep them out there as long as you possibly can. Can backfire a little bit with an untimely yellow, but certainly going to push in that direction with your strategy.
Cooper settles back in, now chasing down Macquarie once again as the pit stops are underway. See Tyler Stone climbing up and over the wall. That means Matt Million is set to climb aboard the 53 for Auto Technic. That is the lanky Dutchman, Luke Hartog, about to replace Dan Seville for ACI Motorsports. And they'll check the tire pressures on these cars as well. So Luke getting himself situated with some help from one of the crew members. Here comes Cooper again. Not ready to give up on this challenge just yet.
A little bit of a reset. Let's see what we do.
That's interesting.
Macquarie's in. That surprised me a little bit. I would have thought they'd have kept him out there a little bit longer, but elect to get out of this fight and not roll the dice.
It's great news, I would suspect, for Cooper now, who's able to zip away without a car in front of him. That's if he can keep Anderson behind, which is easier said than done. Two cars in two different classes, let's remember, as Cooper slips a little bit wide again. Does that open up a chance for Anderson to counterattack? It does not. So Cooper is, for now, back in that clear air, and he'll want to put his head down and try and maximize these last few laps before he turns the car over to Tony Gaples.
I think with a long lap like here at Road America, it's tough to go a lap down, but you could see some of the cars that hit pit lane early were going down a lap. The reason being is the pit lane here is so excessive. You're over 40 seconds transition time, plus a 91-second stop. That adds up to over 2 minutes. So unless you're right with the lead pack, you are going to be a lap down, and that can play into that strategy call of coming in early as well.
That's an interesting point. Whoa, Green drops a wheel. Or is there something more wrong? Yeah, this is massive. Left front.
Championship leader, drama. Is this going to bring out a yellow as well, right in the middle of this portion of the race where people are hitting pit lane? I think if you haven't been in yet and you see this race car, is he going to get it to a safe haven? Look, he's got some drive, but it's a long way to get it back to pit lane. Let's take a look. Was there a hit here into the brake zone that caused that breakage? Up the hill, Anderson to the inside, moves over the air. That's the hit, that's the clip, and you see immediately when you get tire to tire, it's very abrupt on the track rod, tie rods there on the front suspension, and that is a dramatic moment in this championship with Josh Green, day over essentially.
The lead was just 9 points coming into the weekend in the Pro-Am class. They had won 4 consecutive races. But they will not see the checkered flag today. That car is stopped, not in a safe place either. And now the leaders, sensing that, are coming to pit lane, trying to cover off that situation. One more look at it, Cal. How do you read it?
I think it's 50-50. Just didn't give each other enough racing room. I mean, Zach looked like he moved a little bit to the right, climbing the hill. It sort of pinches there as you get up towards the turn-in point. Just really unfortunate, and good news for Random Vandals. They get Kent and Cook into pit lane before there's a potential yellow, because I don't think that car's in a safe place. I think what they may be waiting for is anyone who hasn't pitted yet to grab that opportunity, but they may be forced to put a safety car out there. Let's wait and see.
Well, Gonzalez and Laced did not take this opportunity to pit, so that is a gamble.
Big gamble
For the front runners in their respective classes. And the Vandals, of course, will have had a good sense of that situation because it was the team car that was involved. So they would have known right away whether or not that car was likely to make it back around or not. The others might have seen it limping around and thought maybe it could get to a safe spot. Here is Gonzalez leading the race, but very much in jeopardy here by virtue of not having pitted just yet.
Yeah, I'm trying to think it through. If you do go up a lap and then send the safety car, you might be okay. You might be protected there if you're a lap ahead, because essentially others would come in. You'd then circulate back to the tail end of that lead lap, but you'd have the lead still, so that might be the game that they're playing.
It was interesting. Michael Cooper out of the car had a gesture for the Auto Technic car, it would appear. Now we stay green for now. Just over 30 minutes to go. Everyone reacting to the incident on the track. Tony Gapel's now installed in the McLaren. Again, these cars in different classes here. And now we do go full course yellow. Leaders have not pitted. Top 3 overall. They're the leaders in their respective classes. They will stay out here with the full course yellow having been displayed. And now we need to see, where are they?
Well, key is, where's the safety car going to pick them up and arrest their speed? And they do it right there. So this is going to be interesting here. So
they could, with the safety car came out, they couldn't have come to the pits right then. So they had their chance, effectively. Well, we just need to see where everybody else is in this line. Who is still on the lead lap? Who is a lap down? This is the Rafa team. Hands on hips there. Now, both of their cars are in the same position. So Schmid would be a similar situation.
Just trying to see if those guys who stayed out have got a full lap on the majority of the field or not. Wait for this to cycle through to get a true perspective of everything. It could be their savior by staying out if they've got a lap on everyone.
This is the car that is first on track of those that have pitted. Kevin Boehm now in. Good opening stint from Kenton Cook.
Yeah, I think he's going to click over the line. So yeah, I don't think the leader's got a full lap. So this is going to backfire on them as far as I'm concerned in terms of that strategy by staying out.
That was curious because that had every making of a full course yellow. I'm surprised that the Rafa team as well as Nola Sport didn't call their car in unless they were thinking the same thing as you. But yeah, Boehm's come across the line, so he at least has remained on the lead lap. Ellis on the lead lap, as is Webb, Elkanian.
I think that was just, we were seeing teams being lapped here a little bit deeper in the field. If you had sort of like front-ish track position, then there was not that possibility of going a full lap down. Again, getting back to this Josh Green situation, you know, 2 cars not in the same class, fighting out for the same piece of turf, not ideal.
Now, pretty big consequences, it would appear, for the points leaders in Pro-Am coming into this weekend. Well, under the full course yellow, a chance to hear from some of the drivers fresh out of the race cars. Let's head down to TJ Clark.
Caught up with Random Vandals Racing, Kenton Cook down here on pit lane, out of the car. this yellow seems like it works out just in your guys' favor.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the yellow was caused by one of our team cars going out of the race, and thankfully we had a little bit of luck from Lil G here. Yeah, it's not good for the 68. We were able to get in just before that yellow came out. Yeah, those guys are flying this weekend. We really didn't have anything for them, so props to them for getting things dialed in, and they've got a rocket ship, so they've been doing a really good job this weekend. So thankfully we had a little bit of lady luck on our side. We got in under the yellow, and yeah, we'll see how this pans out for us at the end of the race. It's early days still.
How quick of a call was that to come down into pit lane, or was that planned and fortune just favored you?
The plan was originally to follow the 68 in, and then they called me early because I think they saw the car stopped, the 94 of Josh, and yeah, they made the call to pit just to try to cover the yellow if they did win yellow, and look what happened.
Well, there you go. Looks like it could be a good day, and we'll let you and Little G get to it.
Oh yeah.
G being Gizmo, the mascot for Random Vandals.
Yeah, these leaders need to get in. I think they get an extra 5 minutes added to that maximum drive time if there is a full course yellow during that period, but obviously their 35 minutes maximum drive time is getting close to exhaustion, just a minute to go with that. And here you see them hit pit lane.
Yep. And this is why it's so costly. Everyone else who has pitted will cycle on through. So some of the fastest cars in the field will be restarting at the tail end of the line. Looks like there might have been 4 cars trapped a lap down. Interestingly, one of them was the points leader in AM, Calvin. If I'm reading this right, the leader just came across to complete 14 laps. I believe James Clay, because they pitted early, they were towards the back, weren't as close to the leaders, right? The overall leaders. I think they did get trapped a lap down here.
Just wait for the full field to cycle over the stripe here. Could be right.
I think the Dome Motorsport car, the Luke Hartog ACI car, and
definitely I think I saw the 9 car coming out. That was one of those cars when I saw that they were going a lap down, and Clay is behind him, so I think you're spot on there.
So that is pretty big for them.
Huge, because essentially the only car on the same lap that's in their class within shouting distance is the Garcia car.
Yeah.
Move up 1 spot potentially, but not any further.
And there's a chance that maybe they were dealing with some kind of issue anyways, the report that we just got. But at any rate, does not look like it's going to be a particularly good day for them. Meanwhile, the 3 cars that owed pit stops have done so. Michael Oriema will lead this group out, so that is a change of overall position, albeit cars in different classes here. So Mateus Leist is out, Oriema is in. Gresham Wagner has replaced Tyler Gonzalez, and speaking of Tyler, DJ has found him.
Yes, I have Tyler Gonzalez fresh out of the car. I know this strategy puts you guys at a little bit of a disadvantage here, but you've got a rocket ship this weekend. Are there good things to take away from this race?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. Rafa Racings gave us a great car. I have full confidence in Gresham to go out there, and it's definitely unfortunate what happened. Nobody's fault, definitely not the crew's fault. We're just doing what we thought was right, so just going to have to make the best of it. Gresham's going to drive a great stint, I know it, and hopefully we'll get back up towards the top.
Does the good speed you've shown this weekend, does that carry on to Barber? Does that carry on to Indianapolis? Do you think you can finish the season strong?
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. Definitely a big difference in track between Road America and Barber, but we were strong there last year. Hopefully we'll carry that same momentum.
Best of luck to you, Tyler.
Thank you.
Very composed, given the circumstances, because that was his race to lose.
It really was, so it's got to be super frustrated as a group there in terms of how these things have turned out, but hats off to the race director. He gave them the opportunity to hit pit lane. They chose not to do it, and then once they'd cycled through and got to that part of the field, it's like, we got to go. We can't leave that car out there and stay green flag racing.
Yeah, and that hit both sides of the Rafa camp, because their AM-class car that was having a good day also was one that owed the pit stop. So Kenny Schmid out, Anthony Gerasi in, but at the back of the train as we get ready to restart this race. Lights are out on top of the safety car. It will be Kevin Boehm leading the way. Can they keep this win streak alive? Alex Ellis, the hungry Canadian, looking for a breakthrough performance here. Jesse Webb installed now in the JMF car. Has a little bit of lap traffic to get to. These are some of the lap cars we forecasted would be there. We see Luke Hartog and Mark Miller in between some of the front runners, or they're actually at the very front of this field. That's interesting. So they are at the tail end of the lead lap effectively. So that's something that Kevin Boehm, the leader of the race, is going to have to deal with. They won't be way by. I guess they were trapped behind the safety car when the overall leader pitted and gave the lead of the race to Boehm. So you can ignore the first 3 cars in this shot from an overall positions perspective, but Boehm's still going to have to deal with them, and they all should be pretty quick with some fast drivers now behind the wheel.
Yeah, you'd have to think that guys like Mark Miller don't want to make it easy for Kevin Boehm, because if there's another yellow, they'd then circulate around and join the tail end of the lead lap versus being just ahead of the pack.
This is going to get spicy, isn't it? Here's Boehm under pressure from Ellis, who himself in turn is under pressure from Jesse Webb, and they've got all the lap traffic just ahead of them that they have to contend with as well. 21 minutes still to go here in the first and only race of the weekend for Pirelli GT4 America.
Kevin Boehm has cleared one of those cars. He's still got 2 really fast cars in front of him, including this one of Mark Miller. 77, a little bit wide there. Ellis may have gone into the ABS. They couldn't get the front end to hook up and turn into the corner.
Miller will want to fight here to stay on the lead lap, because another full course yellow would bring them right back to the tail of the field and a chance then to recover.
Absolutely, as we just mentioned, that is their strategy right now. Get the hammer down. You never want to hope for a yellow, because it also eats up a lot of the clock, but would get them back in the game potentially. Boehm and Kenton Cook going for 5 straight victories here and extend that championship lead, but Ellis is putting the pressure on here. This is a battle overall and in class. Top 6 cars in this race are in the silver class.
Alex Ellis made his series debut at Barber last year, ran up at the front in both of those races. Best finish this season, just 3rd, but it was the last time out. That was at VIR Race 2. They're starting to find a little bit of momentum. Meanwhile, James Clay has pulled his car off to the side. The leaders in the championship in the AM class done for the day.
Wonder if they had technical issues anyway. We don't expect to hear or see postings that deep in the field. So what are you hearing, DJ?
I had a chance to talk to Charlie Boston just a few minutes ago. He said it's a radiator issue for the number 36. He actually said he was having a hard time seeing out of that front windshield over the course of the race, and it just got worse and worse and worse to the point that they had to retire the car.
Hate that for them. Thanks for the update, DJ. That is costly for them in their championship bid. Battle for position here. This is Max Hewitt. Actually, this would be Luca Mars now, wouldn't it?
Woo.
Alongside, fighting for 3rd. Jesse Webb has to defend a couple of Aston Martins. Right now, Mars a sandwich there between the 2 JMF cars. Really good crossover there. Back to the inside. Oh, it's going to be really tight down in turn 3.
Luca Mars dropping wheels in the dirt. Gets his nose trimmed there, and it's going to allow the other JMF car a little bit of a run here with Ortman. He's got around that 5-second extra pit stop time that he had to achieve during his run down pit lane, and he's still got really good track position here, running in the top 5.
Mars fighting back. Meanwhile, front of the field, here comes Alex Ellis, super late on the brakes. Man, barely got it slowed up in time not to run into the back of Kevin Boehm, who has no recourse but to give way up the inside. Here comes Alex Ellis, trying to get to the front. The 2 make contact. Oh, Kevin Boehm off track. That is the points leader in that class.
That was huge. Big decision, and Miller's off.
Mark Miller.
He wanted a yellow, and I think he's created his own.
Heavy impact there. That should bring out a full course yellow. Boehm trying to hang on to that position if he can before the yellow is shown. We're still green for the moment. Luca Mars with Mike David Ortman right behind him. Hasn't been able to get around yet, and still we stay green.
That was a big decision by Kevin Bowman, electing to fight it out there in the brake zone for turn 6. Got that little bump, took the excursion. Will cost him a bundle of points in the championship, but the good news is the nearest contenders are still behind him as Miller sits stranded by the side of the road in the hurry downs.
Race Control doing everything they can to try and let that accident clear, but doesn't look like that car will be able to move in right on cue. Full course yellow.
Yeah, that was really testy there, getting up to turn 6. Ellis made that move. I think that was legitimate position. Kevin elected not to give it up. Just run around the cushion, so to speak. And as they tried to run the same radius coming off turn 6, that was the bump and enough to send him.
So instead of losing the 1 spot to Ellis, it drops Kevin Bohm back to 5th. That's one they'll be thinking about headed into the final 2 weekends of the season. So this yellow resets things. It should allow Luke Hartog to get back to the tail end of the train.
That's why Hartog and Miller were pushing so hard. Miller really wasn't in proximity with any other race cars, so not sure if it was a little driver error, dropped a wheel and went for a ride, or something technical. We'll take another look at things here, how they developed here.
Just 16 minutes to go. I think we've got to look at both of these incidents. We'll start here with Ellis to the inside of Bohm.
Yeah, it's a legitimate move, and it's always going to funnel down in terms of the racing room on the exit of that corner. And that was a big decision there that Kevin elected to do, just to hang in there a little bit longer. I think from big picture thinking, it's easy for me to sit here. He's a racer and he wants to win another race and keep that streak alive, but you'd have to think maybe he should have given it up a little bit. And here's Mark Miller. He just drops that left wheel and corrects it in a round, so that was bizarre. I mean, we're talking about, I think those curbs should be relatively dry. It's been a dry run through the morning since the late night rain yesterday. Could have got caught out a little bit by the dampness and moisture that still exists there on that corner exit.
You'd almost expect it had to be something like that. Such a rare miscue from a veteran that has raced at a high level for a long time. Good to see Mark out of the car. That was a significant frontal impact. And the safety crew right on the scene. They'll attend to Mark and they'll get the accident cleaned up as quickly as possible with just 15 minutes to go here.
Here, and a couple of the pit stops are under review. Normally that means that they're underneath the minimum stop times, the car 23 and the 606. Could have been personnel over the wall, not being doing the right thing, but normally that's a reflection of possibility of being underneath the minimum.
So 606 is Thunder Bunny. That's Laura Hayes currently driving, and 23 is Nola Sport, Michael Oriema. And we did see that car jump a position in the pits, didn't we? Remember, they came out ahead of the 68 that they had entered behind. So that supports the theory that it's a time-related miscue.
Yeah.
Here's the leader in Pro-Am, Tony Gaples. But look who's second, Riley Dickinson. Some teams on differing strategies with starting your Pro versus your Am and race 1 versus race 2. It's going to take all of Tony's experience and guile to keep Riley behind him.
It certainly is. But Tony's a racer. He'll admit that he's not always the best qualifier, but put him in race conditions and he normally moves forward. Well, he can't go any further forward. It's going to be all about defending from the youngster from ACI Motorsports, one of the best in one of those Porsches, Riley Dickinson. What a talent that young man is.
Already a Porsche Carrera Cup champion. That was back in 2023, and he's going for another here this year. He and Ryan Yardley have been duking it out in that championship here this year. For Dickinson, though, in Pirelli GT4 America, this would be a first win if he were able to get around and hang on. He and Kurt Swearingen, the team boss, they finished second on a couple of occasions, but don't have that win yet. Talked to Kurt at the parade, and he said, you know, we're just not having the year we had last year. I said, Kurt, you set the bar pretty high a year ago. That's awfully difficult to eclipse.
Yeah, it's been fun to watch Kurt work on his craft. Great drivers, work with some really great young talents. Yeah. Certainly gives you that benchmark and that data to look at and just push yourself and find that little bit more speed. And get the advisement in terms of racecraft and things like that at the same time.
Yep, won 3 races, 9 podiums en route to the championship last year. Kurt Swearingen driving alongside Kai Van Berlo. So new co-driver alongside this year at Riley Dickinson. But they've been strong together, just haven't quite had the win yet. Little damage there on the left-hand side for Kevin Bowen.
Yeah, it's a rough ride when you go off the road there in turn 6. It used to just be gravel. Now there's that little bit of runoff room, but when you join the grass, it's certainly not a cricket field in terms of being smooth.
It's like a baseball field, right?
Something like that.
Sometimes we
a
need
lot
to
easier
translate.
to understand. Cricket, I'm talking about.
That is
And
patently
if you don't
false.
understand it, sometimes we have 5 days to discuss it.
That's true. That is the benefit, I suppose. Well, as our mutual friend and colleague Bob Barsha likes to say, the Brits and the Americans, 2 great cultures separated by a common language. Mostly we've converted you at this stage, Cal. You've been stateside long enough.
You have.
I've converted you. I get the credit?
You have, yeah.
All right. Well, it's an accolade I was not anticipating today. Continuing behind the safety car here, and time starting to run away. Just 11 minutes still to go. It didn't look like the cleanup was nearly complete. And there are a few different places where that car can return to the paddock without having to go all the way around to the pits. So hopefully we could restart this race at the end of this lap. Just got word from DJ in the pits. He checked in with the Random Vandals team in that CrowdStrike AWS car. Kevin Bohm, no additional damage beyond the superficial that we saw. They're not concerned about it. So Kevin should have something to fight with when we go back to green.
Yeah, and he's going to want to try and make up things a little bit, but he's got some really feisty young drivers in front of him. They're going to give no respect to the championship leader here. Good news for him is that the closest pursuer in the championship, the 68 car, Gresham Wagner, now sits 12th overall on the road and 9th in class, so he's going to gain points on him. And the next closest pursuer is the 52 car, and he's got 3 overall positions and 2 class positions on him as well. That would be Colin Garrett now aboard the 52 Auto Technic Racing BMW.
If you're the Wagner-Gonzalez pairing, or Garrett and Anderson, you got to be thinking of all the days for Bohm to finally have a bad day. He and Kid and Cook, now we're having bad days too. They can't even take advantage of it.
Those drivers are going to be super feisty. Watch for Gresham Wagner to make some bold moves here, I think, once we get back to green flag racing.
Yeah, he's done well to get clear of a lot of the out-of-class traffic. Just one out-of-class car to get to until he gets to Hannah Greenmeyer and then can start making passes that would help to pay some more points. Meanwhile, in front of the field, a driver that is hungry for a win. Alex Ellis, Jesse Webb, close in tow. Then it's Luca Mars, Mike David Ortman, Kevin Bohm, the top 5. Coming back to the restart here. Ellis puts down the loud pedal and starts to try to pull away, but that's easier said than done. And we go full course yellow again, right as the race resumes. Or do we? Nope,
Green
looks
flag
like the
was
green
flying.
flag's still
I think it's just the
waving.
graphic there. Webb down at the inside, pushing it really deep.
Jesse around the outside, a couple of Canadians battling up at the front of this field. Porsche to the inside. Webb, though, sweeps across the nose. He takes the top spot away.
Bold move to the inside for Luca Mars. Can't quite make it stick on Ellis. It's going to be a drag race.
And then it's Mike David Ortman who lost some time in the pits because he's driving by himself, had a longer pit stop as a consequence. These yellows have bunched everything back up, and now he too can battle for a podium position once again. That's the 4th car in line. Ellis fighting back to the outside around the Webb machine down in turn 5. Whoa!
Contact!
Oh! Contact again! This is right in front of the field. Around they go. Everybody scrambling to avoid. Luca Mars also seemingly involved.
That is crazy. Ortman, I believe, now to the lead, but he's got the championship leader. We talked about Kevin Bourne making some strides here late in the going. He suddenly finds himself back in second place.
From 5th to 2nd, just like that, in roughly the same place where it all seemed to go away from him about 10 minutes ago. Riley Dickinson now leads in Pro-Am. He finds himself 3rd overall. Tony Gaples has slipped down a little bit, but still holds 2nd in his class. And here we go, a couple of pit stop penalties, including to the 23, which had led in the Pro-Am class earlier. Short on the pit stop, a time penalty coming their way post-race.
Yes, so they are nearly 7/10 underneath that 1 second margin. You get, but that is a multiplier by 10 post-race, so nearly a 7-second penalty. Gresham Wagner there, you see him there just turning into Canada corner. He's made some moves, but unfortunately for him, the championship leader is well ahead, and then you see a car stranded. I don't think we can stay green with that car sitting there.
No, and with the time remaining, I don't know that this race restarts if we go yellow once again, so it is time to go. Well, the time may have elapsed. I think full course yellow has been displayed. Yes, it has. And that likely means Mike David Ortman, driving solo,
wow,
is set to pick up his first win in Pirelli GT4 America.
That is a crazy one.
Kevin Boehm somehow survives all of that and will take 2nd to help extend the championship lead. Gresham Wagner did get, well, timing just updated. I'm not sure what he did. I think he got at least 1 spot.
I think he's 6th on the road.
5th in class.
Yeah.
Greenmeyer up to 4th in class. That's a great result. And how about it? Elganian and Siljahaug will stand on the podium today.
That
Fantastic.
Awesome for that group.
Another great recovery. Luke Hartog, who was a lap down, remember, ended up 3rd in Pro-Am. Unbelievable.
Oh, for Ellis. He had the argy-bargy with Kevin Boehm up into turn 6, got him the lead, and then suddenly further argy-bargy cost him the race win. Let's take a look and see how this one works out. Ellis down around the outside. They climb the hill. There's a bump. Ellis is trying to get back onto the racetrack, and then they just lock horns, turn it back across the road. Luca Mars goes for a spin. Ortman gets down to the inside line with Kevin Boehm.
That was so close for Luca Mars. He narrowly got clipped and caught up in that. Otherwise, he would have jetted through and found himself in control of this race.
I think there was just the lightest contact with him, right?
Looked that way. Another look at it from a different angle. This is at the top of the hill.
Sure, if he got contact, he just got those right sides in the grass that turned him.
You might be right. And then just had to sit there and watch as the field streamed by. How painful. Luca Mars, instead of leading, 7th in the silver class.
So for JMF, they lose the win with 1 car, but may inherit it with their 2nd car.
It's not done yet, and they are hustling. So maybe there's a chance this race resumes. Let's not write those headlines just yet.
Well, the trouble is with the length of this racetrack, we've got to go green this time, otherwise you eat up 4 minutes of the race clock. So it's either now or never.
And we'll soon know. As they run, though, we haven't covered off the AM class. How about Lucas and Joe Catania, father and son? They're in position to perhaps win in the AM class, and then the brothers Garcia would be 2nd, Michael and Alex, on what has been a trouble-filled weekend for them, it should be noted. They started the race weekend in one chassis, switched to another, then switched back again.
Big day for the Rafa Racing team. Tarazzi and company will finish on the podium, it looks like, with the championship leaders by the side of the road. That could move them to the championship lead. We'll have to wait to, it's going to be tight at least. They came in 12 points behind. They'll score 15 as they run right now with the podium run.
And that's in spite of the fact that they got caught out by the first yellow, having not yet pitted. So a good recovery from them as well. We will soon know if this race can be resumed. They're still displaying double yellows at start finish, and that's really what we needed to see. The cleanup not yet complete, so it will be white flag as well as the yellows, this time by and the race will end behind the safety car. Well, we predicted some fireworks, didn't we, Cal, when everyone just had to sit and wait yesterday. They did get in their cars for one pace lap, essentially, before the race was called due to weather one day ago, and you just got the sense there was a lot of anxious energy pent up waiting to be released.
Yeah, and typically on the final race of the doubleheader weekends, drivers are willing to go for it a little bit more. It's unfortunate to see so many cars off the road not finishing with damage. And just clarification, I just worked out provisionally the points in that AM class. If Girazzi and the 72 car do finish third, they'll go into the next round of the championship 1 point behind Postons and Clay.
Wow, with 5 races to go. We'll have the makeup for the canceled race yesterday as part of the festivities at Barber. Makes it a triple header weekend for Pirelli GT4 America. And then 2 races at Indianapolis to close out this season. Well, hate it for so many of these front runners. They had a chance for a great result. Alex Ellis and Danny Dashelski certainly among them. Ellis was right there. How do you read the incident? Just hard racing late in the going?
I think so. It's tricky. With the runoff room there in turn 5 and a few of the corners here when you're trying to get back on. And it's just hard when you're totally side to side. It's more when the tires sort of grab each other, it gets you all twisted up and sideways. And both drivers did a great job of trying to hang on to it, but just got the cars too out of shape to maintain control. The rest of the field had to somehow miss them. Luca Mars, as we said, we're debating whether it was just getting in the grass there with the right side tires or any contact, or whether he didn't quite nip through. It would have been a great victory for the Van der Steur Racing team.
Yeah, they've been impressive. His teammate Max Hewitt really opened some eyes, I think, first in GT America before making the switch over here. And when you have a talent like Luca Mars alongside, it felt like they were poised for some big things, but they'll have to wait a little bit longer. Got a glimpse a moment ago at Michael Garcia, second in the AM class. Really good result for the Skip Barber Racing team. What a special moment for Lucas and Joe Catania, too, father and son, sharing the car for Rigid Speed, one of the smaller teams in the paddock, but they do a lot with a little, graduating to GT4 after some success in the touring car ranks, and this will be a weekend to remember.
Yeah, that'll be one. They'll have the podium and the victory up on their wall, I would think, for a long time, and chew that over celebrations and family get-togethers in the future.
Just a few more corners to negotiate behind the safety car. And then the checkered flag will be waved in just a few moments. Austin Sprins, content creator, gets the honors. Tom Hansing there, the typical series flagman's been doing the training, coaching him up. That's how you do it. Nice form. What's the #1 rule, Cal?
Don't drop the flag.
Correct.
Don't throw it early.
That's also important.
As in a lap early.
Right. No
That's
trouble with that
before.
here. Clock has run out. Up the hill for the very first time in Pirelli GT4 America. Driving solo here today, Mike David Ortman delivers the victory for JMF Motorsports. Congratulations to the German driver, his first win here in the States. Riley Dickinson crosses the line first in Pro-Am, sharing his first victory with Kurt Swearingen and ACI Motorsports as John Farrow and the JMF team celebrate. And in the AM class, it's official. Rigid Speed Company, Joseph and Lucas Catania take the win at Road America. Outstanding stuff for the trio of winners. Championship certainly shaken up on a day where it really looked like the silver class could get a total shake-up. Instead, it's Kevin Bohm and Kitten Cook extending their lead. The win streak is snapped, but 5 wins in a second isn't too bad either.
No, it's an amazing points run for that group, and for Kevin, I thought that they were going to take a bit of a hit there, or potential big points day was gone awry, and fortunately right place at right time with those other cars getting together shortly thereafter, losing the lead.
Yeah. Well, just impressive what they've done. Kenton Cook still has another race to run today in GT World Challenge America. We'll see him later on this afternoon. But for Kevin, who joined us earlier in the weekend for the TC America broadcast, race number 1, appreciated his insight. Multi-time champion over there.
Such a smart driver,
yeah,
and a technician with a race car. Really understands what makes these cars tick.
And shows that the ladder system within SRO works, moving up through the TC ranks into GT4 and closing in, perhaps, if things go correctly, over the next 5 races on his first GT4 championship. Here are the results, though. David Ortman, happy to see him get the victory. Then it's Bohm and Cook in second. Third overall, the Pro-Am class winners, Dickinson and Swearingen. That was a long time coming. Celia Haug and Elganian sharing the podium as well. Marco Polo Motorsports back in the top 3 in the silver class. Gresham and Greenmeyer, really good result for them. They finished 4th, just off the podium for Heart of Racing. Gonzalez and Wagner tried to recover. Strategy did not break their way. They end up 6th overall, 5th in class. Anderson and Garrett in the wars today will have to settle for a 6th place result in silver. Tony Gaples on the podium. I don't think he would have expected that if you had asked him earlier in the weekend, but strong run for him and for Michael Cooper, ahead of James Walker Jr. and Tyler McQuarrie. For Bimmer World, Hartog and Seville end up 4th in the Pro-Am class, just off the podium, but they were a lap down at one stage, so an excellent recovery there. In the AM class, top 3 all nose to tail when they came to the checkered flag. Joe Catania led home Michael Garcia and Anthony Gerasi, who draws closer along with Kenny Schmid to the championship lead in the AM class. Their quietly strong season continues. Well, it's been an up and down type of season for Charlie Postins and James Clay, and today was decidedly on the downside of that equation. A few others with some misfortune, including Sam Craven and Josh Green, points leaders in Pro-Am. They take a hit today in the points tally.
I think I'm officially looking at the Pro-Am points. I think the 82 will leap ahead of the 94.
Wow.
You get classified down in 9th, so they'll pick up a couple of points, and there's a 15-point grab for McQuarrie and James Walker Jr.
Yes, and they came in trailing by 9. So, okay, unofficially, the championship lead does swing in the Pro-Am class. Mike David Ortman makes his way to victory lane. Really excited to hear from him. That car showing a few battle scars, but all in all quite clean, which is a rarity, especially on a day like today. Aston Martin folks with plenty to celebrate too. Mike takes that car to victory lane and will celebrate for the first time in his Pirelli GT4 America career. And there's, coming in for the hug there, John Farrow, who heads up this operation. You can hear Mike say thank you so much to John, who has championed so many young drivers over the years. This is just another one, giving them opportunities to showcase their talent on a big stage. And we wait for Mike to get his helmet off. If we have the time, we'd love to get a quick word with him. But one way or the other, he'll have plenty to celebrate, plenty to smile about. There's the Pirelli hat, and I think we have a chance to get a quick word. Let's go to DJ. All right, sounds like we might have to wait for that word with Mike, but congratulations to him. He'll enjoy the chance to stand on the podium. Up next is a triple header at Barber Motorsports Park in Birmingham, Alabama. Thanks for joining us for Pirelli GT4 America from Road America. See you at Barber down the road.